Hey guys, my name is Lockie Stewart and I am here coming from the Men That Can Project headquarters. It's just undergone a nice little paint, which is awesome. So what I want to talk about today is mindfulness for men. So specifically gents out there who cringe when they hear the word mindfulness, and instantly you might think of a hippie kind of lifestyle, a carefree kind of lifestyle, and it could be something that deters you from looking into mindfulness more than you definitely probably should. Now, mindfulness for myself, I was one of those blokes who didn't want to look at it because of a preconceived ideas I had around it. Although there were so many people in my life preaching the benefits, I could see their lives changing. I could see them becoming happier, more fulfilled, and just more calm within themselves. And even though I saw that, I still had, I guess, that barrier up. But I want to speak to you gents today and help you hopefully gain a perspective shift, much like I did around 2014. So today I want to talk about, obviously, for mindfulness, for a lot of us, it's understanding, it's an understanding of what we feel and experience, right? For a lot of us, I remember going through much of my early years not really understanding why I felt anger, why I felt shame, why I felt guilt, or even happiness and excitement to that degree. But it was always just, it's there. I want to try and run away and I want to avoid that. And I did that through the form of drugs, alcohol, pornography, all of these sorts of things that helped me avoid or escape the reality of what was in front of me. Now, mindfulness isn't going to take away the guilt, the shame, the excitement, the happiness. It's just going to help you learn to understand the experience and almost shift how you see it. Because I remember for myself, experiencing guilt, right, was uncomfortable. I wanted to get out of there as fast as I could. I wanted to get away from that feeling as fast as I could. So rather than understanding why I felt guilty or why I was experiencing that guilt, I would just run. And the goal of mindfulness is to help you understand that the guilt is there, but it allows you to dive deep and to process and to almost shift how you're experiencing it. It may still be there, but you want to shift the experience and turn it from a disempowering moment or experience to an empowering one. Because for me, every time I've experienced guilt, I can now look at it. Yes, that's there, but it's because I have gone against something that I value as an individual, right? When an example that maybe some of you gents, I know is a common one for a lot of blokes, could be cheating on your partner, right? The guilt that is associated with that can really crumble a lot of us. And, granted, it's not a good action, but a lot of us learn from that. A lot of us experience the guilt because it goes against who we are as individuals. And we can't be defined by that. We need to be able to process it, learn from it, and grow into a better version of ourselves where we don't continue to make the same mistakes, where we don't continue to hurt people in the same ways. So when we look at that, obviously it's the space between stimulus and response. So when something bad happens, right, it might be someone cuts you off in traffic and your usual response is fuck you, and you just fly off the rail. You don't give yourself time between the stimulus, which was the car cutting you off, or someone bumping into you at the pub, and you losing your shit, right? Mindfulness allows you to slow down, process what you're feeling, process what you're experiencing a bit better, and then put you in a more powerful position to respond better. I'm not saying you don't want to ever feel angry or you don't want to feel pissed off. I just know every time I have, it hasn't served a very good purpose. It's left me in a worse off position. So I really appreciate now being able to have a bit more time between the stimulus and choosing how I respond, and choosing to respond in a way that's going to allow me to live a better quality of life. And it's not going to impact my day for the rest of the day. Like, when someone cuts you off in traffic, granted, still happens from time to time when I'm not being intentional. So that's probably another key point. Be really intentional with how you're going throughout the day, the intention of why you're watching this video, the intention of when you have your coffee in the morning, when you spend time with your partner or your family, or when you go into work. Just be mindful of everything that's going on. Appreciate it. Figure out and become aware of what you're feeling and experiencing throughout the day. Because, if there are things that are causing you to feel and experience negative emotions or thoughts throughout the day, if you can pinpoint it, if you can be aware of it, you can choose how you want to respond to that. And if you respond in a more empowered way, you can move your life forward. You don't have to sit in the shit like a lot of people do. And, I did for a very long time. I, blamed everyone else around me rather than learning to understand what was going on up in here. Right. And I think the stress that we experience, the burnout, the loneliness, the loss or lack of meaning and purpose comes because we aren't taking responsibility for that. And mindfulness is a really great way to improve that, because many of us aren't taught this practice from a young age. That's why it's so foreign. But you think about, I guarantee some point in history, brushing your teeth wasn't a common thing. There would have been people who started doing it, and people would have looked at them like, geez, that's weird. But now everyone does it. In this day and age, everyone does it because you've got good breath. You don't get any smelly kisses, all of those sorts of things. So it becomes normal. And I believe mindfulness is becoming more and more mainstream because it works. It really, really works. Right? It helps us decrease stress. It helps us feel more fulfilled, find meaning, find purpose, all of those sorts of things. But now, when we think about this, and I touched on it just before, taking responsibility of our mind of our brain by practicing how we use our mind. Right? What we practice grows stronger. So if you are practicing negative thinking, if you are practicing habits that lead to poor health, the outcome is negative thoughts, and which might lead to anxiety, depression, sadness, a lot of fear. But if you start practicing, and this is why it's a practice, the more you practice, the stronger it will get. Just like getting in the gym and pumping weights, the better you'll get at it. So when you think of mindfulness, practicing self-awareness, practicing connection, practicing being intentional with your time to find meaning and to find fulfillment, the better you will get at it. And, there's so many mindfulness journals out there now that you can literally do while you're having your coffee in the morning that help you practice and focus on this, right? The one that I'm using has one where I write a note to myself in the morning, my message to myself. So I'm practicing positive self-talk. I'm practicing how I want to talk to myself, how I want to feel about myself. It's asking for 3 things that I'm grateful for, right? So it's helping me practice being present and appreciating everything that's going on in my life. Then we've also got reflection on things that I did well yesterday and various other things there. So being mindful of all of that really helps us improve it. It's taking that time. And another brilliant thing, aside from those journals that you can buy from wherever you want to get them from, just search mindfulness journal or anything like that, or those who are part of the Man That Can project, we give you a journal. But you want to practice being more confident. You want to practice loving yourself. You want to practice being fulfilled. Then focus on being fulfilled, focused on loving yourself, focused on being confident, and it will grow. It will become easier. It will becoming more mainstream, right? Because when we look at training the brain, it's neuroplasticity, right? It's your brain's way of dealing with and growing to adapt with what's in front of you, mainly through learning. Like listening to this, you might be taking notes and learning, or through experience, reflecting on the experiences. Because if you have a whole heap of trauma, you're going to be focused on and generally stuck in a place where the trauma runs your life. That's what it is for most people. But if you want to shift to being in another place, I'm not saying it's this easy, but it's the practice of gratitude, practice of being still, practice of connection, practice of fulfillment. You will improve all of these things. So give it a crack, guys. It won't solve all your problems. I'm not sitting here saying this one thing will solve everything. I'm saying if you start practicing it, you watch things improve in your life. You watch how you feel about yourself. You watch the fulfillment. You watch just the happiness. And don't be turned off by the fact that, you have some preconceived ideas. Just give it a crack. We've got so many blokes doing it, and it's having huge benefits in their life. It's improving their relationships. It's It's improving how they show up at their workplace. It's improving their physical health, their mental well-being, how they feel about themselves, and just really getting them excited about life again. So give it a crack, guys. Comment below. Let me know, touch base how it's going for you. And if you are listening for the first time, make sure you hit subscribe and head over to Instagram and follow me at Lachlan Stewart. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a great day.